Quick question for you. Have you ever seen a company brag about record sales, yet a few months later they're laying people off? Or maybe you've heard your government say, inflation is under control, but every time you go shopping your bill keeps climbing. It feels weird, right? The numbers look great on paper, but reality doesn't match. That's not an accident. That's actually a well-known trap in economics called Goodhart's law. And once you hear what it means, you'll start noticing it everywhere. At work, in school, even in your own daily life. Here's the thing about numbers. They make us feel in control. We love setting goals. Sales targets, test scores, stock prices, even step counts on our watches. But there's a problem. The British economist Charles Goodhart noticed it way back in the 1970s. He said, when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. And he was right. Because the moment we turn a number into a goal, people stop focusing on the real thing it's supposed to represent. Instead, they start playing tricks to hit the number. It's like polishing the speedometer in your car instead of fixing the engine. Think of numbers as road signs. They point us in the right direction. GDP points to economic health. Test scores point to learning. Customer ratings point to service quality. But imagine if the signpost itself became the destination. You'd end up worshiping the sign instead of actually reaching the city. That's Goodhart's law in plain English. The number stops telling the truth once it becomes the only thing people chase. Back in 1975, Charles Goodhart was watching governments struggle with monetary policy. They thought, if we control the money supply, we control the economy. Sounds simple, right? But the banks weren't fools. They just created new financial products that didn't count toward the official money supply. Boom, the government hit its target, but the economy was still unstable. It's like putting a lock on your front door, only to realize the burglars started using the back window. The target was met, but the problem didn't go away. Here's why this keeps happening. Numbers are just stand-ins. GDP is not the economy. Test scores aren't real knowledge. Step counts aren't real health. They're all shortcuts. But when the shortcut becomes the destination, people naturally figure out how to game it. And gaming the system always creates weird side effects. You fix the number, but you don't fix the reality. Sometimes, you actually make the reality worse. Take inflation. Governments love to say, inflation is 2%, we're doing great. But what they don't tell you is that your bag of chips quietly shrank from 200 grams to 160 grams. Same price, less product. Officially, inflation looks low. But in your kitchen it feels very different. Or central banks targeting money supply. As soon as they did, banks just moved money into forms that weren't counted. The target? Met. The economy? Still messy. Ever worked in sales? You'll get this. If the boss only rewards sales volume, guess what happens? Reps push junk people don't need, or they discount so heavily the company barely makes a profit. On paper, record sales. In reality, future collapse. Or customer service ratings. If staff are judged only on 5-star reviews, suddenly, you're pressured. Please give me all 5s or I'll get in trouble. The rating looks perfect. But the actual service? Not so much. In schools, it's even more obvious. When test scores become everything, teachers stop teaching kids how to think. They just prep them for the exam. In some places, they even adjust results. Students pass, scores rise, but the true learning, missing. And yes, this happens to you and me too. Fitness apps tell you to walk 10,000 steps. So what do people do? They pace around the bedroom at midnight to hit the number. Technically they win, but are they healthier? Not really. And don't get me started on social media. If the goal is likes and followers, what do creators do? Pump out clickbait. Loud, flashy, shocking. The numbers go up, but the actual content goes downhill fast. Goodhart wasn't alone. There's Campbell's law, which basically says, the more you rely on a number, the more it gets corrupted. And then there's the Cobra Effect. The British colonial government in India wanted fewer cobras, so they offered rewards for every dead snake. People being clever started breeding cobras. When the program ended, they released them. Guess what? More cobras than before. That's the danger of chasing numbers. You often end up worse off. So how do we deal with this? A few ideas. First, remember, numbers are guides, not reality. Don't worship them. Second, use more than one measure. If a company only tracks sales, it'll miss profitability, customer loyalty, and long-term health. A balanced set of metrics makes it harder to game the system. Third, keep your eyes on the real goal. Instead of saying, "We want inflation at 2%, ask, "Are people living better lives? Can families actually afford groceries and rent?" And finally, expect gaming. Before you set a target, ask yourself, how could someone twist this? If you can spot the loophole, you can design smarter incentives. This isn't just history. Today it's everywhere, especially in tech. Think about algorithms. Social media platforms optimized for one thing: engagement, likes, shares, watch time. And guess what we got? Fake news, outrage, endless doom scrolling. Engagement skyrocketed, but society became more divided. That's Goodhart's law in real time. Numbers were met, reality was damaged. So what's the takeaway? Numbers matter, but they're not the whole story. As Einstein said, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts. Next time someone shows you a shiny statistic, GDP growth, test scores, survey ratings, don't just nod. Ask yourself, is this real progress or just a number that's been gamed? Because in the end, life isn't about chasing numbers. It's about what those numbers are supposed to stand for. If you found this useful, share it with a friend who's obsessed with hitting targets. And don't forget to subscribe for more simple, honest breakdowns of economics and finance. Because sometimes, the numbers lie, but the lessons behind them don't.